dawn of the third age of Matthew Kind, 2 years after the Sequest YouTube streams. The Babylon Project was a dream given form. Its goal: prevent more Monday night boredom by creating a place where visitors and subscribers could wipe out their dullness coolly. It's a port of call, home away from home for YouTube envoys, grifters, enthusiasts, and wanderers. Visitors and subscribers wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning madness, all alone in the night. It can be a dangerous place, but it's our last best hope for entertainment. This is the story of the last of the Matthew's Babylon streams. The year is 2024. The name of the place is Life with Matthew.
I literally had everything working, and now I don't. Say something, Jeff? I can't hear Jeff, but everyone can hear me now. Everyone should be able to hear me now. Thank you, Iffy FSX. And I was actually bragging to Jeff, like, oh, everything's gonna be so great and wonderful. I have it all worked out. I'm amazing. And now it's not. Okay, Jeff, are you muted? Did you mute your microphone?
Did I?
Yes, you did. Okay.
I muted it so I could listen to the YouTube stream, and I forgot to unmute it. It's my fault, folks. It's my fault.
I also muted myself, but we're good now. Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. Yes, Texas. I literally was just saying how how you said that's a lot of madness. I'm like, you haven't seen anything yet. This is like just gonna get worse, because that's what I do. There's always some sort of technical issue.
Well, I caused it tonight, so I'll take the heat for it.
And I was actually bragging to Jeff. So if you don't know Bird of Prey 5, he's a really amazing sci-fi guy. Bird of Prey 5, check out his channel. He's constantly doing live streams, and he used to do a Deep Space Nine watch part. In fact, Bird of Prey 5, his watch streams are really what inspired me to do this with John so long ago. Because what Bird of Prey 5 did for... Oh, there is zero way I muted Melphasis. There's no way. You're pulling my chain and it's working. But I'm gonna double check. There's no way. Okay, yes, I can hear me. Thank you, Melphasis. You got me. Derailing my train of thought too. I shouldn't look at the chat when I'm trying to talk, because I will definitely get distracted. But yeah, so he did this with Deep Space Nine, and that really inspired me to start doing movie nights with Michael. I was trying to think of his screen name real quick, because he used to be the anti-trekker, but people misunderstood what that meant, and so now he's the salty trekker. And he's probably going to give me a hard time now because I forgot his screen name, and I can only think of his real name of Michael. Yeah, exactly. Look, a squirrel. And it worked too, Iffy. It 100% worked. But so we did movie nights for a long time, and then I did Sequest with John, and it was all thanks to Bird of Prey 5 inspiring us. That's where this is going. But he gave me his Stream Deck, which I can't show you because it's connected to my computer, and if I try and lift it up, everything's going to break. But 2 years ago, he gave me the Stream Deck, and I knew it just had a broken USB cable. And I went finally this week and I fixed it. Like, all I had to do was cut the USB cable and move the wire back into the board and solder some stuff on, which I do soldering stuff all the time. So not a hard deal, 30 minutes, and it's amazing. And I was telling Jeff, like, I can just push a button and things happen. And I love it. And but at the same time, I knew for sure I'm just gonna be messing up tonight all over the place, guys. But but trying.
No, it was me. It was me.
And let's see. YouTube is fussing, say it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I apologize for that if you guys are experiencing that. There's nothing I can do about it. I have a very good internet connection, so I don't know where it's getting off saying that. I'm not seeing any issues anywhere else, so this might just be YouTube lying to me, which they do.
Omnicast says the stream is fine.
Okay, everything looks fine. Well, thanks, guys. I hope you guys have had a good week. Here's how it's going to work. In just a minute, I'm going to remember that I need to drop a link into the chat. And this link will take you to SciTube, which is it's a watch party site. So I can use something that I stream for us all to watch this together. And by doing that, you can watch my copy of Babylon 5 with me right now, only during this stream. You come here later, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to watch it. In fact, I actually got a comment today on one of my old Sequest videos, and the guy's like, "Oh, I thought I was going to be able to watch this live." And I'm like, dude, this was a 2-year-old video. But no, I don't have the legal rights to show everyone Sequest. Just go to a Peacock TV and watch Sequest for free. And he was just so offended. I'm like, it's in the description everywhere. It's just a watch party. And it's a lot of fun, I think. And I love doing it with y'all each week. And I hate the fact that we had to go so long before being able to do this again. But the point is, during this stream only, click on that link over there and you can watch the stream with us, or watch my copy with us. If you don't want to come to SciTube, you have your own copy, queue it up. I'll try and give you like a 3 count. And then we can all sync up together. And that way also, if you're watching this at some point later, you can watch this ad-free by purchasing it on Amazon and stream it. Or you can go to Tubi TV?
Tubi
TV. And you can watch it for free with ads. And they're both a remastered version. So go show either one of those sites some love and watch it. Because the more people do that, and aren't like, oh wow, we can totally, ride the high seas, and because that's not what this is about. you can't take my stuff. Go support the official creators. We need more content like this, because this is great stuff so far. I've been thoroughly impressed, Jeff. And I'm
glad to hear that.
I'm
glad we'll
that,
continue for a while.
I'm glad that it took me 30 years to finally get around to watching Babylon 5, but here we are.
At least.
Yeah. Okay, and that's a sentence and a half for me. 30 years. Am I doing my math right? 94 to 24?
Yeah.
Yep.
For season 1.
Gosh. So yeah, 30 years. But it's cool. It's cool. I'm not at all feeling old or having problems whenever I see how long 30 years ago was.
And Texas Analyst Shock says, there are no pirates in Babylon 5 space?
There are raiders, though.
There are raiders, yes.
So help me out here, guys. Let me know down in the comments. And I know, sometimes I talk off the cuff, and I say things and I think back later, I'm like, I'm an idiot. I didn't mean that at all. Last week I said I'm not going to read any comments. That was a lie. Put in the Dr. Phil clip here. Like, the truth detector
You lied?
Said that was a lie. Yeah. I was wrong. I misspoke. It was Dr. Phil who does that one, right? Or am I thinking of someone else? They have the lie detector test, and they're like, the lie detector test said that. Oh, that was Murray. Murray says that clip.
I didn't watch Murray.
He always had the lie detector. The lie detector said, Tess has proven that you were lying about that when you said he was the father. It was, always maximum drama. But Dr. Murray was like Jerry Springer, but a little more refined. Okay, Omnicast, I see you corrected me on how I'm saying it. I can't tell the difference between those two spellings. So they look the same to me. But what I should have said is that I do read all the comments, the first couple words, at the very least. And if within the first couple of words as I'm going along, I see that you are talking about a specific character and something they're going to do or did do, or I stop reading because I don't want any spoilers. But if you're just saying like, oh, hey, here's this interesting thing about this episode, some behind the scenes stuff, or like one person was commenting that Londo's hair changes in a couple episodes. Not a spoiler. That's fine. I read it, and I'm happy to be able to chit chat with y'all down there. So thank you, Bird of Prey 5, because he's actually the one who's like, what, Matthew? I can't believe you said this on a stream. That's a sacred bond that YouTubers and people commenting on the videos share, that you will read their stuff. And he's right. I didn't mean to say that like that. And I actually had been reading even up to that point.
Yeah, he said he had a bone to pick with you on another stream.
Was it today's stream, the world's funniest joke?
No, this was on actually on another stream, another streamer. Who was it? I'm trying to think now. Cinnabon was streaming, and Bird was on the panel, and he said he had a bone to pick with you, Matthew.
Bone to pick.
Yeah, because you weren't reading the comments.
Okay, I'm reading the comments, Bird. I am. But if I see that you're going to spoiler territory, I cover my eyes real quick. And I don't read anymore, okay? Because I don't want spoilers. But if he's saying another character's hair, spoiler. No, it's really not. It's not. And Mr. Lundell is saying, pronounce it like Maury. Maury?
Maury.
I'll try. Oh, Texas, that is a spoiler. I mean, okay, it's like a 50-year-old spoiler, but still, that's a spoiler. Yeah, Matthew is not
that
the
old
one.
Simpsons episode.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. We'll go. Oh no, Bird of Prey 5. If you watch this later, and he usually does, but when I said the funniest joke was used in World War II, I was not talking about dropping a nuclear bomb on someone. There is a Monty Python skit called The World's Funniest Joke. And it is about this guy developed the joke that was used to defeat Germans in World War II because of how funny it was. And so they had to translate it one word at a time, and no one was allowed to see two words because of how funny it was. That's all I was talking about. So I heard him say, like, I heard him read my comment. He's like, oh, yeah, the dropping a nuke is not funny, Matt. No, I didn't mean that, Bird. I was just referring to Monty Python. Yes, John, that's not a spoiler either. It is well known that during the show, I will get someone's name all the wrong. Just all the wrong.
It wouldn't be one of your streams if you hadn't.
It really wouldn't. And I guess on that, we're going to get started. But first, last week, I made a prediction about Soul Hunter. And so here it is.
Did.
I did. I said, I believe that Soul Hunter is going to be one of two things. Either it is going to be Delene's race is going to make some comment about how something Soul Hunter, and it's going to be did I already get it wrong? It's Delene, right? Delene's race is going to make a comment about how it's a Soul Hunter, and that means like you're trying to find out the core of who you are. Or it's going to be something to do with the PSYOP people trying to chase someone down, and they're going to be searching people's souls, stuff like that. And Amy's Amazing Deals, yes, I will read your comment. Mikey's saying, am I not reading my comment on purpose or by accident? Accident. What did I miss? At least I got Mari's last name right. He has a last name? I don't even begin to know his last name. I didn't know. I
never watched it. I never watched it, so why would I know?
And Amy's saying it's pronounced Mori. What isn't that how I said it at first? Mori. Or I said Mari, didn't I?
You did say Mari.
I said Mari. Yeah.
Maury Povich. Says Mikey Sue.
Maury Povich. I do skip comments all the time. I don't try to. I'm just really bad at hosting YouTube. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and get this started. Hopefully everyone has had time to come over to SciTube who wants to come to SciTube. And for anyone who doesn't want to come to SciTube, that's fine. And if you don't want to watch it using some other service like going to Amazon Prime or coming to Tubi TV, that's fine. We got you covered, sorta. I'm going to include clips just down below, but there's no sound. Thank you everyone who was like, Matthew, you've messed up. There's lots of sound last week. We got that fixed, hopefully. We'll see. But it's just the clips. One still image every like 5 seconds, just so you have some reference for what's going on as we're talking about it. So yeah, only 19 minutes after I go live. Yeah, I know, it's a record. I mean, to be fair, the first 5 minutes were like just waiting, doing a countdown as I get things finished up here. But yeah, you know, within 15 minutes of going live, not bad. Ish.
You're doing pretty well.
Yeah. And I do stall a little bit so people can come in and be here late, but at the same time, I just like chit-chatting with y'all guys. So I do take advantage of the situation. I'm sorry, Thomas, but I'm not sorry.
I think he missed us.
Yeah, look out for the books behind me. They're dangerous. They're fake. It's all fake. It's just a
talking
green
about the
screen.
book radiation. I don't know where he gets this stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I do know it's Cinnabon, but you know.
So we're going to start. Let's do this and say 3, 2, 1. Hit the play, and we should all be synced up together. And as always, please let me know if I have still failed, and you are hearing the sound coming in through the stream there. And yes, Josh, as Josh is saying, Amy, thank you so much for letting me out of the doghouse to stream. We say letting me out. She kind of pushed me out. Like, Matthew, go do this.
I think you're good on audio.
Excellent. Okay, Lieutenant Commander Susan. I gotta remember these names, because I won't. But Susan is the one who they introduced in episode 1, who replaced the other telepath.
The other commander, Takashima.
Yes, sorry, yes.
This is the
But
new.
they also replaced the
chief
telepath.
They did. Well, this is the new doctor,
Okay.
Stephen Franklin.
Which
I like the
I'm kinda
last
sad.
name.
That is a good last name. I'm kind of sad they had to replace the doctor, but I do get it. It's a year later. There's a lot that changes in your life a year later. A year later than the pilot, I mean.
Yeah, 11 months. Gotta love that music.
So one thing I try and do as well is Voyager reviews, and I have been working on one, Thomas.
Oh wow!
And
I'm impressed,
and
Matthew.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to take advantage of downtime when I get it. But one of the things I've really noticed about old shows is that music was very much there to enhance whatever was going on in the scene. Like, it sat in the background and it just added a layer of like, hey, there's something going on, and here's maybe some music that helps your emotions feel that way. But I've noticed in new shows, the music is a character in the show. Like, it's not just designed to sit in the background. It's like up front, in your face. It's kind of like they're drawing attention, saying, hey, we don't think you can tell this thing is important. No, really, look at this thing. And it's really driving the scene instead of just sitting in the background for the scene.
It can get quite bombastic with a lot of the newer shows. You're right.
But I noticed that because there was something in Voyager. They did like this subtle string music in the background. I'm like, wow, you don't get that anymore.
Thomas says, Oh, maybe we can find out what happens in Caretaker Part 2 soon.
No, hey, I did the first season pretty faithfully. It's just that second season, man.
So you're blaming the show.
I am. It is specifically initiations, which I actually got done, and Elogium. Elogium is either my least favorite Trek episode of all Trek, or my second least, counting Encounter at Farpoint. Sorry, Itchy. Yes, the show's on.
You can see Sinclair likes taking risks. He jumps out into a Star Fury a lot.
Farpoint and Encounter? No, Encounter at Farpoint. I'm pretty sure I got that name right, at least. And yes, Commander Sinclair was just saying that this is a brand new race, as a matter of fact. And he wants to be there.
I love the attention to detail on the physics of these Star Furies.
Right, not just, reduce impulse speed and we're basically fighter jets in space.
Rotation and matching speeds and things of that sort. It's just really well done.
Omnicast is saying that NASA physicists said the Star Furies were very accurate scientifically. Oh. We actually just went to NASA for kind of a homeschool field trip thing. Just me and the fam. The Houston one, obviously. We didn't head out to Florida for this.
I believe John said, Houston, we have a Matthew in Discord.
Okay, Delin.
You got
Delin.
it. Delin.
Okay, so the way I'm getting the feel for this so far is that the Earthlings are the Johnny-come-lately to the scenes. That everyone else has been existing for quite a while. In fact, going back and rewatching last week's episode, because I don't shut up during these things, because I'm too busy talking about it. It's a live commentary, people. What do you expect? But one of the things I picked up on was that the Centauri, which is Lando's race, Lando's race, and the Garn, which is Jakar's race.
Narn. Yes.
The Centauri almost completely obliterated the Narn when they first showed up.
They occupied Narn.
And then 100 years later, or for like 100 years ago, the Narn and the Centauri kind of had a massive war and have come into a time of more or less history for the past 100 years. Or it's more or less peace for the past 100 years.
Not 100. It's more like 25.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood a line they made. They mentioned something about a century, but...
Yeah, the Centauri occupied the Narn homeworld for 100 years, 100 Narn years, which is about 122 Earth years, as we find out.
Oh, and here we see kind of the premise, perhaps, for Soul Hunter. Delene was freaking out about this alien. Delene was freaking out about this alien and specifically mentioned wherever they go, someone dies.
They're attracted to death.
Kind of like a banshee. Ooh, his jacket is open, says Omni. So my point about the humans being the Johnny-come-latelys on the scene, everyone else I feel like has a much greater knowledge of the races that exist. Whereas the humans are kind of like still figuring out how everyone work together. It seems like our awareness of history, or our awareness of who's in the galaxy, is severely limited.
Well, we know the Minbari have been around for a long time. The Centauri have been on the scene for quite a while. They, in fact, had a lot of territory, but they ended up losing some of it, like the Narn homeworld. The Narn are pretty new, and the Earth Alliance are, like you said, the newest major race.
And she specifically calls him a soul hunter. That he, I believe she was just saying he had a particular taste for Minbari of a certain class. And he has the power to steal souls, is how she's explaining it. Now, this soul hunter, played by W. Morgan Shepherd. Like I do, whenever I set these up, I fast forward just a little bit so I can see the guest characters. I have it on mute so I don't hear anything. But even I, with my horrible track record with names, recognize W. Morgan Shepherd. He played both in TNG and Star Trek, or in Voyager, excuse me. Oh, and he's hearing...
John DeMarco says, Dr. Graves himself.
Yes,
indeed, John.
Ian Graves, I believe, was his full name. But he's the one who tried to take over Data's body when he was at the end of his life.
Yes.
And then he also appeared as another hunter in Voyager. He was the Ahab character with 7 of 9 and the Beast episode, Qatar, or something like that.
I believe you're right.
But we overhear going on in the background that while he's sleeping or something, he is hearing this guy speak.
He's in med lab, recovering.
And so I think they're kind of dropping that he can tell that this man is about to meet an imminent end. That's right, John DeMarco. He was a holographic advisor in Sequest. I knew we heard him from Sequest also.
Very good, John. I had forgotten that.
He has this good, deep voice. And that's what Mr. Lindell was just saying. He's one of those actors with a very distinctive voice. Pack a day, smoke voice. Is that what it is? Mr. Lindell, I do believe he played a Klingon in one of the movies. John saying, yep, Star Trek 6. He was the commander of Brura Pinthe. And so it seems as if his character is learning English kind of on the fly right now. Thomas, wasn't he a Vulcan in Star Trek 2009? You know what? I think he was. But I think he was just like a background character in that one. The one who mentioned Spock is...
I try to ignore.
You try to ignore 2009?
Yes, I try to ignore 2009. Much as I can.
Thomas was saying he's the one who mentioned Spock is disadvantaged. Now that you say that, I can hear Morgan's voice. they did a good job writing these lines. It's just one word kind of things, but he's doing a great job. And they're not just random gibberish. It's working really well with the scene. Yeah, and Omni is writing it out. The dull, muffled, slower now, closer now.
That's Omni for you.
And the whole time they got the heartbeat going on. Like, this is exactly what I mean about the sound design in old shows. They just did something different. And I wish I was more of a music compositional person to be able to like, oh yes, the exact terminology is yada yada yada. But I'm not. All I can say is like, yeah, I can hear the difference. He's saying, if you could only see, if you could only see. He's a Jadoon. Si cho no to no to.
I don't think he says it quite as quickly.
Well, I'm sure there's some slow Jadoons. Jadoon with speech impediments.
Possibly. It's a distinct possibility.
You cannot hear it, can you?
No, I can't now. Thanks, Matthew.
It's what I'm here for, man. But Sinclair, he's obviously quite interested in this alien who somehow knew that death was coming. Especially since Delin specifically called it out. And so he uses Delin's terminology about them being a soul thief, and he says, we're not thieves, we're preservers. And the doctor wants to know what a soul hunter even is, and he's saying, well, go ask Commander Flynn?
Delin.
Oh, no, Delin.
It's
that makes
Delin.
more sense.
The commander's Minbari friend, Delin.
Ah, the middle name, okay. And yeah, Mr. Lindell, it does kind of look like he's wearing the Ferengi headdress. He's saying, what do you do with the souls after you save them? He's saying, we enshrine them, we save them. And we learn. And Doctor said, nonsense can't be done. I mean, I'd kind of use the evidence in my own eyes. It looks like something just got done. He's saying, you're ridiculous. Yeah, so let me go. Ooh, okay, so he mentioned that they've only saved a few of the Nabari, that they're very private and selfish. And I think that's interesting because he just revealed that they learn from the souls they take. And the Nabari are not people who'd want such secrets shared, I believe. Which would explain their extreme paranoia about them, secrets that should not be revealed. I'm sorry, Mikey. I'm not trying to ignore anyone. As I said, I'm just really bad at hosting these things.
What Mikey was saying is that both Furlong, who played Delenn, and Shepard are both gone. And so many actors on this show are gone already. It's just all three in this scene have passed.
I said it 30 years ago. 30 years. Mm-hmm. And these actors, I mean, this is something I actually appreciate. The actors aren't young people. Like, oftentimes you get a series like this and you're like, okay, we're going to make everyone super young, have that like rugged handsomeness to them sort of thing. Men want to be them, women want to be with them sort of situation. But most of the people here actually seem old enough to be occupying the positions they're in. Instead of like, are you sure this guy's not still in training? Just maybe graduated last week?
Yeah, we don't have Cadet Kirk going to Captain in 2 scenes.
Yes. So Susan is saying, from stars we came to stars we return. Something about the end of time, we commit this body. It's a nice little quasi-religious ceremony. And yes, Omni, listen to that music.
It's beautiful. Yeah, you're right, Texas Unknown Shock. About half the cast is gone.
Now, which one's Richard Biggs? Is that the new Doctor?
Yes.
44, that's a young age to go. And Susan's saying, I'm Russian, we understand these things.
That's true, Josh Street. We do have a commander that goes to captain after a battle, but that's not much of a jump. Not as big as a cadet to a captain.
I mean, Cisco did the same thing.
Well, it is the next step up, so.
So Delenn is wanting to know where his collection of souls are. Apparently a soul hunter never travels without his collection. He goes, it's safe. And she is just seething with fury for this guy. She wants to know, are any of the
find out why.
Oh, I bet. But she's saying, I'm going to tear up the floorboards of your ship. I will find your collection before you leave. Ah, okay. So the Lin is saying their belief is that once a Nabari dies, their souls merge back together and then are the stuff from which people of the next generation are born. So to steal that person would be to rob them from the cycle of death and rebirth in the Nabari's mind.
John says it's refreshing to see a new doctor who hasn't shown any inclination to murder. I know, John, right?
Texas is saying, I didn't really have an issue with 2009 Trek ... until they put a cadet who hadn't completed training and was technically under review and command of a major starship. Yeah. And it actually was like technically discharged a little bit. Like he was in trouble. For him to be kicked off the ship, manage to sneak back on, and then take command, it is a stretch.
I think that's putting it mildly. Well, Josh, we'll get to that later. Try to avoid spoilers.
So he was able to see somehow, maybe through the souls he collected, maybe just it seems like he has a bit of a psychic ability of his own. But Delenn is a member, or was a member, of the Grey Council. The very thing that Gakar mentioned in the pilot episode, and she said, "You will never mention that name again in my presence."
Jakar.
Well, that's how Londo was saying it when he was really mad last week.
Okay.
Mr. Lundell says, "What do you expect from writers who know nothing, let's say, about the military, let alone Trek?" Oh, for 2009? Yeah. Those starships looked a lot like the Naboo starships from Star Wars.
And this was before episode 1.
Indeed.
And yes, John, the leader was named Ducat.
So Soul Hunter has revealed his collection, and apparently he at least believes that he can communicate with them. And he's saying, "I know why we're here now. I know what brought us here." And they went looking in the guy's ship again, and they said, "Well, we found something that we missed the first time. He did a really good job hiding it, but there's nothing inside. Whatever was in there, he has it with him now." Dr. Crusher, how are you doing? She says, "He collects souls? Can I borrow a few?" Of course, referencing it was a Emmy winning episode, wasn't it?
I don't remember. Maybe John can help us with that. Mikey, I think Chris Pine did a decent job in Beyond. I'm not sure about the first 2 movies.
I think the guy who played Bones, Underwood something?
Carl Urban. Carl Urban.
Urban, Underwood, same difference. I think he did a good Bones.
Yeah, I thought he did a real good job as Dr. McCoy.
And yes, Omnicast is a Zendi insectoid.
And again, before Enterprise.
But he wants a guide, someone who knows all the ins and outs of the station. And the Zendi is saying it's very expensive. I know it's not a Zendi. Before anyone gets, it's a joke, okay? The insectoid, he's saying it's going to be very expensive to have a guide that familiar with this station.
John, did Sub Rosa win any sort of award? Uh-oh, now it's coming.
Another Soul Hunter ship. Okay. And John's saying not that he knows. Okay, I know the Voyager Threshold episode was.
Threshold. Yeah, it did win.
But I thought Sub Rosa was won or maybe just nominated for something. But saying nominated for something, I mean, that could be almost any episode ever. Omnicast is saying more Trek actors. Here we go. You know, this guy wasn't listed as one of the guest actors. Do you know who it is, Omni? And if he's saying the 27,000 plagiarism coincidence are completely accidental, yeah, you know what? It goes both ways. I mean, there are some sci-fi concepts that are known as there's some legal fancy French or Latin term, but it just means like common scenes. Like you're just going to
that
experience.
was played. The second Soul Hunter was played by John Snyder.
What else did he do? Like, what was his Trek role?
That's what I'm looking up right now. He played a Romulan.
Okay.
In The Enemy, where Geordi was stuck on that planet with the Romulan. And he also played a Bakra, a Romulan named Bakra.
Interesting. So the Soul Hunter we've been introduced to is considered deranged or dangerous by his own people.
He was also in the 5th season episode of the Masterpiece Society of TNG.
Okay. And he's saying that he's here to save Delen's soul at any cost. And so apparently he had gone to save the souls of several Minbari, but every time he was prevented or just barely too late. So his order was disgraced. And he says, well, I found a solution. And as we can see, the solution is apparently he goes out and kills them himself. He's the Matthew of Soul Hunters. Thank you, Thomas. I'm sure you mean by being just too late and not deranged. Ah, so that's why his ship was damaged. These Soul Hunters almost captured him, but he escaped. He's saying that you and the others, assuming Great Council here, stopped me and shamed me in front of my brothers, and now their knowledge is gone forever. Apparently it's left quite the impact on him. You say that your soul, one of the Great Council themselves, will atone for my failure.
So that's an important piece of information right there. She's a member of the Grey Council.
Well, he mentioned that earlier when he was in the med bay. Now, if he really can communicate, kind of like the Vulcan Katra situation here. If my soul was forcefully ripped out of my body and not just collected after I died, I don't think I'd have pleasant words to share with him.
I wouldn't be happy.
Maybe I'm the weird one. I don't know. And she's begging, let me go. And he's saying, shh, don't discomfort your soul. He's saying, I could just take it, but if he uses violence like that, it could damage the soul, and he doesn't want that. And he's claiming he doesn't want to give her any discomfort. But that looks very much like discomfort. I believe he's saying that he slowly drains the blood from her body. That sounds discomforting.
Yeah, I would think that would be quite discomforting.
Like, you would think there'd be some poisons that would be more peacefully going?
Well, he is
Mikey,
deranged.
She's in a lot
so...
of pain. Yeah, Jeff, he's deranged. But to be fair, I'm going off human physiology. I don't know if that's not a peaceful way to go for an Abari. And so the other soul hunter tries to sense where she's going, where she's dying. Pin the tail of the donkey is like the most morbid version of pin the tail on the donkey I've seen.
It's kind of like Star Trek Nemesis when Troy was guiding Worf on where to fire the weapons.
He's saying it's close now, enough for a glimpse into your soul. Yeah, John, remember me. The soul hunter, he is quite prepared to let nothing interfere with him this time. Especially not some upstart human. And that's why you never come around from cover.
That was a good shot, too.
Sinclair appears to be quite the pilot and military guy. Though we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
You say, why do you fight for her? She is Satai. She is Satai. And I've seen her soul. They're using you.
Wonder what he meant by that.
Oh, look at that. Something tells me that they weren't happy about being forcibly collected.
I think you were onto something, Matthew. Yes, Somni. They're using you. They're using you.
Oh yeah, the person who's dying. Maybe I should do something about that. Ooh, that's cold, Sinclair. I mean, appropriate.
Ironic.
Indeed.
Now, I wonder if soul hunters collect other soul hunters' souls. Say that 5 times fast.
You would think so. If he's saying Sinclair's character and motivations will be explained, patience. Well, I'm patient. I just also like rampant speculation. Yeah, maybe not a good way, but definitely an effective way there to end the situation, Lindell. We're finding out that they're amazingly strong, the Nabari, that, losing that much blood would have killed a human, but maybe that's why they fought so well in the war. They could just shrug off the injuries and keep going. The doctor's warning Sinclair to be careful with the sort of talk that talks about being able to steal souls. That sort of talk gets you sent off on a very long vacation. And Delin is saying, we were right about you. So who's right?
And right about what?
The doctor said, whatever she was going to say, we'll have to wait till she's back on her feet. And Sinclair says, yeah, but I bet you half a year's salary she never finishes that sentences. Now he's back in his officer bunks and saying, computer, keyword search, Nabari language, keyword. He's trying to remember Satai. There's just one reference. And it's a honorific used to apply to the ruling body. And yeah, why would a member of the ruling body be assigned to vice president or basic duties? That's like assigned to vice president. Ambassador duties. But we don't know. Yet. But there's always time.
More and more questions.
Maybe not our VP, Thomas. But Sinclair says, I have a message for you and your Soul Hunter brethren. Babylon 5 is off limits. And yeah, he's respectful. He's like, I know you think you're doing the right thing, but stay away. Since I may ask, what happened to my brother's collection? Because life is full of mysteries. Consider this one of them. And we see they were given to Delin.
Yes.
We can see that she's cracking them and releasing the souls, presumably of a Nabari, so it can return to the Great Link.
The Great Link?
Just saying. Yeah, Mike, one more for the block list.
I think you think about it more than they do.
Dr. Crusher, thank you for the donation. Wait, she sets the ghost free? What is wrong with her? Well, different people, different opinions. All right, that is episode 2 of season 1, Soul Hunter. It's another good one.
I thought it was a good one.
Definitely continuing to lay down the mystery around Sinclair. and around the Nabari. Kind of glad we didn't see Jakar in this episode.
Oh, why is that?
You can only have a character who's a heel for so long before you start to get really annoyed with their character and you just want to see them get their comeuppance. And so having a couple break episodes where we focus on individual characters, well, one, it lets us get to know more about that character. So this was very much like a, find out about Delin kind of episode. And so hopefully
minor spoilers, you're going to find that there are going to be episodes about specific characters, especially in this first season.
Well, actually, I was about to say, hopefully, like the next episode, we get to focus in on Londo or Jakar, or probably not. I can do this. Kosh.
Kosh, very good.
Yes. Probably not Kosh, because I think they really want to keep some mystery about him. So I can't see us having too much of a focus on him.
Omni says that Jakar was back on the Garn home planet.
Okay. Matthew just hates the Narns. I don't. But like, if you had a character, and just week after week, they were constantly the ones aggravating everyone. They're constantly the ones impeding the plot from going forward. It gets tiresome. Usually, like every once in a while, you get a character who that's their whole job, to be the heel, and they do it really well. I'm trying to think of a character who did that pretty well. Like, you'd love to see them specifically because of how just grating they were.
Kaiwin.
Yes, thank you.
Dukat on DS9.
Oh, Dukat, he went through a weird arc. They made him very sympathetic for a while, like when he was on the Klingon ship.
Yeah, I suppose so, but for the first 3 seasons.
Kai Wynn, though, she was an excellent heel. Like every time you saw her. But even then, they didn't show her too much. You'd have like a string of episodes with her, and then she'd go into the background and just be doing stuff. And I think it's specifically because if we saw Kai Wynn every week, either you have to start to make her somewhat sympathetic, or you have to, everyone just gets annoyed with her. It's like, okay, fine. Yes, we know she's the worst.
No, you do have a point there, but I think both Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5 have such a rich cast of characters that you have to switch it up.
Yes.
Because you have to focus on all the different characters, and you can't do that at the same time usually.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine a modern Trek show that focused like primarily on one character at the expense of other characters? I mean, that would be... I would be shocked to discover a Star Trek series like that.
I can't think of any Star Trek series like that. Now, there is a show called Discovery, but that's not Star Trek.
Oh, that's a science station, Discovery Channel.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Memphis Sky is saying Quark. I think that kind of goes in with what I was saying. Like he wasn't ever as aggravating as Kai Wynn.
No.
But he was initially kind of someone to butt heads up with Sisko.
And Odo.
Or Odo. Yeah. But even that, the more you spent time with him, the more sympathetic a character he became. To the point, like, even in the last episode, when he's like, the line must be drawn here. It was like, okay, yes, he's being a heel. He's trying to prevent all the progress for Ferengis. But you loved him so much that you sympathized with his position a little bit.
And his character changed over time as well.
Yeah. Mike is saying each main actor was contracted for 13 episodes of a 22 episode season. Oh, I mean, that makes sense logistically.
I did not know that, Mike.
But I do like getting time to get to know each character. Because you don't get that anymore.
Of course, characters like Sinclair, they have to be in pretty much every episode.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's a lead.
Exactly.
And who was it? In Sequest, you had Don Franklin. I think that was his name. I think that was the actor's name.
Yes.
And then you had the kid.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Or is it Lewis? I don't remember.
Oh, it's Lewis. It's Lewis.
It's Lewis? Okay. My mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a few things I remember from the Sequest streams 2 years ago. His name was Lewis. They were in all but one episode across the entire season. Like, each one of them missed a single episode. No, you know what? I think Don Franklin didn't miss a single one. I think it was in all of them. I think I'm combining the actor's name with the character's name. I think the character's name was Franklin. Shoot, I don't remember now. Anyway, and yeah, the dolphin missed several because, you know, they had to repair it in a couple episodes. I was in all but 3 Sequest episodes. Oh, because I'm the dolphin. Yes. Well, Jeff, did you have...
You got the actor's name right. Don Franklin.
Did?
He played Ford.
I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked. Well, Jeff, do you have any thoughts about this episode?
I think
rewatch it.
I do suggest that you rewatch every single episode because there's so much going on. There's so much setup, especially in these early seasons. This was a good episode for Delenn, for Sinclair. We get little nuggets of their character arcs here and there throughout this episode. And we also are introduced to the Soul Hunters, and they do play into the show a bit later on as well. So this was an important episode. So go back and watch it again. It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime. You can get it from Apple, all over the place. Google, YouTube has it as well. Buy the Blu-rays. The Blu-rays are beautiful.
Yes, I've heard that. Now this is I am such a person getting distracted by squirrels. I started to say this at the beginning of the stream. Hopefully people are still around. I need your guys' feedback on this. I'm going into every episode blind right now. And I'm fine continuing to do that because I kind of want to react live with y'all as things are revealed. And I kind of get to formulate on the fly. Here's the feeling I'm getting from this episode. But I definitely miss stuff that way. So I have to go back and watch it again. With the Sequest episodes, I watched it just before the stream and then rewatched it again. Would y'all prefer I did something more like that so I can give some more, like, oh, hey, here's what's going on? Or do y'all prefer me getting it all live for the first time with y'all on this stream? I'll keep this up to y'all. And I'll try and remember to ask this next week because it's the end of the stream. Who's still around? But everyone hanging out with us right now, which I really appreciate if you are hanging out with us right now, because I'm having fun with this and I hope to keep doing it.
Mike Finney says, don't watch it in advance, better for first time reaction.
Okay. And Mike's also saying Don Franklin, now 63 years old, recently did Angel Fire along with Sequest DSV. Along with Sequest DSV? Recently? And that's true, my dear. There are still 23 people here. But, you know, I know some people kind of catch in at the beginning and then skip around. And I just want to make sure everyone gets a fair shot at responding.
Mr. Londell says live for the first time is better. That's how he does his live streams with Yvette.
Okay. That's the way I'm leaning right now anyway. But as long as y'all guys enjoy that, then we're going to keep doing it. So, my guess for next week. Let's see. The title of the episode: Born to the Purple.
Born to the Purple.
Born to the Purple. Okay. I think we're going to continue getting to know characters, which I really appreciate that a 22 episode long season gives you the opportunity to do this. And that's honestly one of the things I think we have issues with modern shows. Not only do we not have times to flesh out each character, as a result, we're more prone to reusing established characters and motifs, such that we can do a quick shorthand of, hey, remember this great thing and this great music from the TV show that you loved as a child or as a young adult? Well, look, we're doing the same thing again. And so I feel like we suffer because of that. Whereas when we could do 22 episodes in a season, we could actually take time to get to know people and establish those great moments and themes. So Born to the Purple, I think, is going to be focused on a character. Let's say, I kind of hope it's Londo. Just the 2 episodes we've gotten with him in so far, he's quickly shaping up to be one of my favorite characters. I like him and Bruce Willis's stunt actors, Michael. Him and Michael's dynamic together.
They do have good chemistry.
Which, getting to watch that scene again the second time, which I did today, because I'm like, no, I gotta watch it before, I gotta watch last week's undistracted before I watch this week's. But the interaction he had with Mike in the hallway was so much different, paying attention to line by line what was said, and I really enjoyed their back and forth there. If he's saying, I think you're cheating, how? Do you think I've seen these before? Or do you think that I have like a cheat sheet? Because I promise, either way, I legit don't. I am just
Peter Jurassic, who plays Londo, he got in character by saying, Mr. Garibaldi!
Oh, no, not me. Okay, someone else. Okay. Because I was going to say, no, I just, having spent almost 40 years growing up with sci-fi and watching sci-fi after sci-fi show, really growing up in what I can only call the golden age of sci-fi. Like, you had my parents' generation, people born from like shortly after World War II to let's say the late 70s. That generation, they grew up with like a silver age of sci-fi. Everything was, over the top. It was more of the Flash Gordon-esque or Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half century sort of sci-fi stuff. The Captain Protons of sci-fi. And then you got to our generation, and it really started to sink its teeth into tackling like meaty subjects of things people were going through and what does it mean to be human. And that's why I think like we really grew up in a golden age of sci-fi. And now I feel like we're in the Coke Classic era of sci-fi. They take something that you used to love, they change the flavor, they tell you it's better, and they expect you to like it while advertising everything to remember how great Coke was, and now it's nothing like it, but you should be so happy because it's Coke Classic. That's where we are in sci-fi right now. And so it's just horrible. No one wants Coke Classic. We just want regular Coke. Anyway, that's my 5-second take on sci-fi through the ages. But I grew up in the golden age of sci-fi, and so I can be like, okay, if I see this going on, this is where it's going. And the longer I spend in a TV show, getting to know the rules of that universe and the people and how they're going to react, the easier it becomes for me to see how people do in any given situation. Yeah, and if you don't like it, it's your fault. Exactly, Texas.
So your prediction for Born to the Purple?
Something about Londo.
Something about Londo, okay.
Yeah, there's something about Londo. And I think I think it's going to be a slightly this goes against everything I was just saying. Babylon 5 so far has been showing that it's a more serious take on the world. A more serious look at the universe. We're in trouble. Humans are the new kids on the block. We're trying to coalesce together on the station, let ambassadors talk, you into the space. I think it's going to be slightly more comedic.
Okay.
And focusing on Londo. How does that Born to the Purple relate to that? I don't know. Born to the Purple, maybe talking about being born to royalty and having to deal with the pressures of being higher in society. Maybe saying that you're born to the purple would be more of being born into servitude to royalty. So that's my kind of guesses. You know, a little scattered, but we'll see how I'm wrong next week.
Well, you did pretty well this week, I thought. You came pretty close with the Delenn thought line.
Yeah, you know, I had it with I had, you know, you say a character, at this point I got a 1 in 8 chance of being right, so I won't count that. It wasn't an Nabari phrase, it was a soul hunter. I did get something to do with psychics. I was broadly in the right area.
Well, you know,
ever being on the mark.
A central question of this episode was, what is a soul? And you
That's
were kind
true.
of describing that in your description for this week.
So
Your prediction.
We'll say I wasn't on the bullseye, but I at least hit the target. I'm on the outer ring, but I was at least on the board. We'll see if I can't get closer next week. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. John, wow. There's some muscle memory for you right there. Wow.
I am honored to be referred to as John.
Jeff, any final thoughts?
I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. It was a great episode of Babylon 5. Looking forward to next week. We'll see you then.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will, and be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.